Okay, so before getting into this video, I have an admission of fault. I am an idiot. I mean, that's normal and to be expected, but specifically, I got the dates messed up with the last video that I posted to YouTube, which took place on July 26th, 2024, not the 28th. I guess the dates on my files reset to the day I saved the files on my computer. I mean, I'm just speculating and looking for something to blame besides myself for being so stupid. To err is human. To really screw up, now that's computer. Or more specifically, Mac, which I cannot stand working with. I hate Mac computers. They're so annoying. But you gotta work with what you got, and that's what I got for free here to use at school. Going forward, let's continue on with the correct dates in this video. But hey, you know what? How about this? For dealing with my epic mix-up, here's a horn show just for you fine folks. And for me, of course. Doesn't that sound nice? On a sunny Saturday, July 27th, 2024, Bird Boy the engineer flies south bringing Amtrak Vermonter Train 57 past the East Norwalk train station with a terrific horn show, technically westbound on track 2. A day later, on Sunday, July 28th, 2024, the legit 28th day of July, I'm at the eastbound end of the westbound track 3 and 5 platform at the South Norwalk station to catch a nice treat. With CT Rail EMD GP40-3H 6699 idling away on track 5, Metro North Deadhead train 5539 eases into the South Norwalk station westbound on track 3. Flipping the camera around reveals a sweet Sunday surprise shoving the Deadhead train through the South Norwalk station as the Penn Central Heritage Unit 217 roars past with a good amount of black smoke rising as the big GE chugs through the station on track 3. Later in the day, I happened to be hanging out at the Full House record store in Norwalk and saw that both CT Rail EMD GP40-3Hs were being used on the Jamboree branch. Here, Metro North train 6849 is seen exiting the tunnel under Wall Street, crossing over the Commerce Street crossing, with CT Rail 6699 on the rear.
Five minutes later.
Running hot on the heels of train 6849 was Metro North Deadhead train 5149 with a filthy, disgusting, dirty cab car leading, with CT Rail 6698 on the rear.
Later that night.
Like an ex that I can never get away from, I find myself once again back at the Merritt 7 train station. Although my video makes it just look like Merritt because I just filmed it that way. But anyways, I'm here for a good reason. Metro North Deadhead train 1162 is seen roaring northbound towards Danbury with the Conrail Heritage Unit 201 leading the charge. thus concluding a Sunday spent with deadheads and a double dose of heritage units and CT rail Jeeps. Onward and forward to the next day. On a dreary, dull, manic Monday, July 29, 2024, the day for rail fanning starts off with yet another Metro-North Heritage unit stuck in captive service on the Danbury branch, with Metro-North train 1861 approaching the always busy New Canaan Avenue crossing in Norwalk, Connecticut, with some guy trying to convince us what he has below his belt isn't tiny by an unneeded revving of his car that sounds weaker than the sounds I make on the toilet after having Dunkin' Donuts, which is located on the other side of the tree line to the right. After flipping the camera around under a hazy, muted sky, the New York Central Heritage Unit number 211 shoves train 1861 over the New Canaan Avenue crossing, with drivers ready and poised to go as soon as the gates rise. Later that evening, the New York Central Heritage Unit number 211 is seen again as it leads Metro-North train 1844 over the Perry Avenue crossing northbound towards Danbury with a matching pattern of blue and red striped shoreliner cars. With boring blue-striped junkers on the other two Danbury direct trains earlier, finally, Metro-North train 1868 arrives at the Merritt 7 station with New Haven, CDOT-owned, McGinnis-painted P32 ACDM 229 leading, featuring an E-Bell. Alright, before watching this next train pass, I have to clarify something. For years and years and years, I've been saying CDOT for the Department of Transportation for the state of Connecticut. But that's not correct. It's CTDOT, not CDOT, like I've been saying for so many other videos. CDOT refers to the state of Colorado, not the state of Connecticut. Honestly, it's more like Colorado. Sorry for the mix-up. Once again, let's get back to watching some trains. At the end of the parking lot fencing, New Haven 229 erupts into departing the Merritt 7 station under a column of black smoke rising as the big GE lugs train 1868 northbound towards Danbury. Featured in the car consist are 3 shoreliners with the name of stops on the Danbury branch. There's Wilton, Bethel, and Cannondale, along with the Knickerbocker cab car and a former West of Hudson cab car 6129 on the rear. With just enough light to film at the end of the platform, Metro-North train 1889 is seen arriving at the Merritt 7 station, southbound towards South Norwalk. A familiar set of shoreliner cars coast to a stop under a sky that my father says you could paint. But alas, instead of wanting to paint the sky, because I'm a slop artist at best, I was more focused on a specific paint scheme, or rather should I say wrap, as the New York Central Heritage Unit number 211 shoves train 1889 out of the Merritt 7 station, showing off its unique wrap and classic GE chug, echoing off the warehouse across the street from the station. Which was a fantastic way to end the day of rail fanning. The next night, Tuesday, July 30th, 2024, I was working at a concert at the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and took a timely break to catch this. Metro North Deadhead train 5539 runs westbound on track 3 through the Bridgeport station with the newly wrapped Employee Appreciation Unit number 214 leading. The 214 was headed down to Grand Central Terminal from New Haven to be displayed for its official debut for employees and for the public to see. Later that same night, I got notice that the Penn Central Heritage Unit number 217 was being used on the turn and burn nighttime run to Danbury and back. Here, Metro North train 1897 eases to a stop at a spot that's become very familiar to me, the Merritt 7 train station. Changing camera angles, sounding like something out of Star Wars, the Penn Central Heritage Unit number 217 shoves train 1897 out of the Merritt 7 station towards South Norwalk. Honestly, anytime I get to reference Star Wars in my videos, I'm happy, because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. Not long after, Metro North train 1897 cleared, Providence and Worcester loaded stone train CT2 was given the go-ahead to make a run up to Danbury. An orange puke-painted GE B39 leads a correctly painted EMD GP38-2 elephant style northbound through the Merritt 7 station. Hitting record just in time, a nice engineer blows the horn on the correctly painted OG-colored GE B39, bringing up the rear of P&W loaded stone train CT2 as it makes its way northbound towards Danbury. Changing over now to Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. With nothing better to do, I waited for the last northbound Jamboree train of the night to see if it would have the Penn Central leading. And I got lucky, as Metro North train 1894 arrives at the Merit 7 station with Penn Central Heritage Unit number 217 leading as the train pulls to a stop. At the end of the parking lot fencing, I couldn't resist getting one more shot of the Penn Central Heritage Unit number 217. Lugging train 1894 out of the Merit 7 station northbound towards Jamboree.
Later that day.
Unfortunately, I had to be a slave to capitalism, and after a full day of work and nothing interesting on the Jamboree branch all day, it was time for my customary Wednesday evening ride, one stop to South Norwalk to visit the Sono Switchtower Museum for the customary member hangout night. And I always caught the same train down there, as Metro North train 1889 is seen arriving at the Merit 7 station, led by a CT dot Shoreliner car 6205, the Nutmeg. Under a painterly patchwork of gray evening clouds that my dad would tell me, hey, this is a sky that you can paint. Another example of patchwork can be seen to a degree of deferred TLC as MTA Disgustingly Boring Blue Stripe number 203 shoves train 1889 out of the South Norwalk station westbound on track 3. As seen out the window of the third story of the Sono Switchtower Museum, Metro North train 1882 is seen just starting up the Jamboree branch with the New York Central Heritage Unit number 211 leading eastbound off of track 3. A short while later, Providence and Worcester loaded Stone Train CT2 is seen with the same power from the night before, with the OG painted GE B39 leading westbound on track 1. The same EMD GP38-2 and GE-B39 Elephant-style pair from the previous night brings up the rear of P&W CT2 as it cruises past the Sono Switchtower Museum towards the South Norwalk station. With no other trains in the way, it didn't take long for P&W CT2 to be given the green light to proceed up the Jamboree branch from the South Norwalk station. With the orange puke-painted GE-B39 now leading, P&W CT2 is seen switching off of track 3 to the Jamboree branch, just past the outer fringes of the spotlights at the Sono Switchtower Museum. As the correctly painted OG GE B39 brings up the rear of P&W CT2, that signaled the end of watching trains at the Sono Switchtower Museum that Wednesday night. But Providence and Worcester had one last surprise in store for me. As I was walking up the steep hill to the South Norwalk station, I heard what sounded like loud rocket engines roaring in the distance. Thankfully, it wasn't SpaceX representing Tesla's stocks exploding, but rather something much better. Providence and Worcester, FPCH, Fresh Pond Cedar Hill, meanders through the South Norwalk station led by a correctly painted GE B39 eastbound on track 2. P&W FPCH was a monster this night, and even though it's an empty train, still required a helper unit on the rear as an orange puke-painted GE-8 coasts by. Honestly, I'm not sure which side of this engine is worse. Metro North Train 1894, my ride home, one stop to Merritt 7, arrives with MTA Boring Blue Stripe number 203, leading eastbound on track 4. This unit has been nicknamed Chips, among other monikers, and hopefully will be transformed soon to another Metro North Heritage Unit wrap. Because no matter when I'd see this unit trackside, day or night, it always reminded me of Green Day's third studio album, because it looks like Dookie. Really, that's just my polite way of saying, it looks like a piece of As always, thanks for watching. I'm happy to say I'm completely done with all the footage that I recorded for July 2024. Now on to August 2024. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel to be notified of future uploads. As always, more videos will be posted very soon.